minutes, see how it goes. City have started pretty well the second half. If there's anything, I think Bernardo Silva's been pretty quiet in the game. Like see Foden maybe around 60 minutes, but I can understand why at the minute there's no changes, but wouldn't surprise me maybe 60 minutes they might freshen it up a little bit.
The only thing that we've seen so far in this second half is a City goal kick taken by Diaz back to Ederson, who went back to Diaz, who hit it long anyway. I mean, what a load of cobblers. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
You could say, Lee, it's wasting a bit of time. It's the dark arts.
You could say that, or you could say it's example number 2 of the afternoon where I've been stuck in 1992, but still.
See if we can do the hat-trick, shall we, before full time. I mean, there are options for Eddie Howe. Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, Willock could come on maybe and pose a threat, but to be fair, when they've got up to Gordon, he gets hold of it. They have looked quite dangerous, but they just need that little bit more quality. But like I said, I think once maybe 60, 65 minutes, they might need to look at change if it stays as it is.
OK, back there when anything happens in the second half. Statman Dave, James McFadden and Mark Albrighton are with us at 5:30. After we've brought you Arsenal against Leicester, we're going to bring you Wolves against Liverpool. Where can Wolves fans be hopeful, Dave?
I think it's maybe looking to attack Liverpool in that build-up shape. I think we've seen Wolves over the years, first with Nuno Espirito Santo and obviously now with Gary O'Neill, do really well in these bigger games, attack the space that's vacated. So maybe we'll see kind of a back five for Wolves today and utilising those wide areas with Mateus Cunha maybe on that left-hand side. Because Liverpool do build up well, but it's a little bit slower, so you can potentially catch them in that area.
They're on an awful run of form, Wolves, heading back to the back end of last season as well, James. That also explains why they're bottom at the moment. But as we were discussing on Monday night, you watch them and they don't feel like a bottom of the table team.
No, but they're conceding too many goals, and that is a problem. I think that it's always tough because you want to try and build your base around being solid defensively and allow you to go and then potentially create your own problems going forward. But if you are conceding goals, too many goals, and then it's a big problem because you can't really get any control in the game. You can't find your rhythm, and that's a big worry for Wolves. I know that they've still got good players, they're still a good side, but when you've got a bad habit of losing goals, then it's very, very difficult. Having said that, you can then just go back to basics and be more organised defensively. I'm not saying they haven't been organised defensively, but put more focus on being that defensive side to maybe grind out a result and use, as everybody hates the dark arts, everybody does it, but you need to find a way to win games. You need to find a way to be more solid, to give yourself a chance to maybe go nick a late winner or score a scrappy goal that makes a difference. But I think first and foremost you try and sort out that defensive record and give yourself a chance of winning games, because at the minute it doesn't look like they're giving themselves that chance to go and get results that they need.
Is that more about them as a side defensively, why they're struggling, Mark, rather than simply your back four or your two centre-halves? I know they've lost Kilman, which is a big loss, and he was their captain, and that follows on from them losing Cody a couple of years ago, who was their captain. But it's more than just a defensive unit.
I think it is, yeah. I think the fans are frustrated that they lost Kilman so early on in the window and had plenty of time to replace him, but never really got anyone in that could do that job of replacing him. I know the centre halves got injured in the week as well, so they're short in that department. But I think it is a team effort. Like you hear the saying, defend from the front a lot, and it does go all the way through the team. Although having said all that, I look at the start that they've had, like the fixtures that they've had so early on in the season. They've more or less played all the big sides, so it's been a real tough start for them. So I think I'm right in saying they've got Man City in a couple of weeks, and then after that they have got a period of games. And even though they're down there, the bottom of the league, I don't worry about them. I think they will climb the table.
I think one of the interesting sides, when you're looking at their sort of expected goals conceded numbers, really good defensive metric, they're about mid-table. But the interesting side, when you dig a little bit deeper, the opponents they've played this season have scored 7 more goals than they should have done from the expected goals. So Wolves' expected goals conceded is around 7.1. They've conceded 14 goals. So again, it might go down to the quality of attackers that they're facing, or just in form, in combination maybe with the goalkeeper slightly underperforming.
I mean, just so you know who they have played. So they lost at Arsenal on the opening day of the season. They were going head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Chelsea in the second weekend at home. And there were 2-2 there, and then all of a sudden Chelsea scored 3 in about 5 minutes, and that was the end of that, and they were beaten 6-2 at home. They've been beaten at home by Newcastle. They've lost at Brighton, albeit that was in the League Cup, and then they've lost at Villa as well. So it is Liverpool today. It's Manchester City on the 20th of October. Brentford sandwiched in between there, but then they've got Palace and Southampton and Fulham and Bournemouth and Everton and West Ham and Ipswich to take them into December. So that does, whilst I'm not saying they pick up maximum points from all of those games, there are games there that they would expect as an established Premier League side to pick up points.
Yeah, I think they're the games that they've got to look at now. I think Gary O'Neill's a good manager. I think he's proved that in his time in management so far. So I think he can get a tune out of them. But obviously, it's not looking good at the moment. It doesn't look good in the position that they're at. The confidence is low. They've lost a couple of players in the window. So it will be them games that they look towards as the catalyst for their season. Even the game against Villa, there was leading for a large part of that game, and it took sort of three late goals to beat them. So it will be them games where they'll need to use that as a catalyst.
Let's go to St James's Park. I'm not sure about this, Lee Blakeman.
We're having a look. Newcastle have got a penalty. Guimaraes with a through ball into Gordon, one-on-one with Ederson, who looked initially to take his legs. We need a different angle on the replay, which we're getting now. Gordon went through, Stewart down in the contact, minimal, had the ball gone.
From where we are, I think, definitely penalty, but looking at that, I don't think it is. I think he's kicked the ball in his second action. So you can see Ederson's not too happy about it. Pep Guardiola definitely not happy about it.
We're just having a look here. They're all surrounding referee Jared Gillett, who made no mistake in pointing to the spot straight away. It's obviously gone to VAR. Pep Guardiola right down beneath us. We didn't have the most ideal view of the challenge. Pep Guardiola is absolutely fuming on this near side, but it looks like it's going to stand this decision. Anthony Gordon, speaking of standing, won the penalty. He's currently standing on the 18-yard line with the ball in his hands, and this is a penalty to Newcastle United, who were dominant in the first half. Stuart, are they going to get their goal 12 minutes into the second?
It's probably just before that, I think Anthony Gordon went through the Kanji in a foot race, and the Kanji sort of just ate him up a little bit, but this one he got away. Let's just see what happens.
58th minute, ball on the spot. Gordon, it's going to be a sure run up here, lining it up on his right foot. City leading this game at St James's Park by 1-0. Referee Jared Gillett blows his whistle. Up steps Gordon, Ederson goes the wrong way, and Newcastle are level as we tick towards the hour mark. Brilliant penalty. Should it have been given in the first place? That's going to be debated. One thing we can tell you is that Newcastle are level because it's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1.
Yeah, great penalty from Gordon under a lot of pressure, but to be fair, he's been a threat in this game, in behind, and that one time he got free. I still don't think it's a penalty, but like I say, he's got his rewards for keep making them runs. Like I say, he's given the Kanji a bit of a hard game. Pep's still not happy, he's still saying it's not a penalty, but it's a great penalty anyway.
Well taken, Mark. I'll let you debate whether or not it should have stood though. 1-1.
Well, we'll do that. Let me just tell you, Blackburn have taken the lead against QPR and Reading have gone 2-1 up on Huddersfield. We'll get details of both of those goals shortly. Penalty for you, James McFadden?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think that it's very theatrical, the last kind of action with Anthony Gordon. There may well be a touch on his left foot which makes him feel that he has to go down, and once a referee gives a decision because of that contact, it's never going to be overturned. It did look pretty soft, but he's running at speed and Ederson comes sliding out. If there's contact on that left foot, then may well be enough for him to go down, but it looked very theatrical.
You can understand why the referee gave it 100%. A, do you think it was a penalty? B, do you think they could have sent the ref to the screen?
I don't think it's a penalty. I don't think it's a penalty, but it's not going to get overturned. It could have been sent to the screen. Once it's given, these ones, as soon as you see that contact, it's always going to stand, and it's frustrating. But
is there an argument? Is there an argument that Gordon? If Gordon hadn't jumped in the way that he had, he would have actually been taken by Edison. So is he sort of tried to win it, but also tried not to get clattered?
Yeah, it's obviously going to knock him off his stride, with Edison being in the position that he was in. And I don't know, you can look at it both ways. There was one at West Ham, Chelsea last week, where he's gone through and he's chucked himself to the ground too theatrically and never got the penalty. So I don't know, it's a difficult one, but I think Gordon's felt the contact and he's thought, that's it, I'm going down.
Dave wants to come in here. I don't know if this is because you have a stat or whether you're going to relate this to your five-a-side experiences on a Monday night. What are you doing?
You know, if I went down like that, Nathan Manu would be having a right go at me. But Anthony Gordon, very, very good at winning penalties. Won 7 since joining Newcastle United.
Oh my word, they might have another one. Lee Blakeman.
Joel Linton just got on the end of a high ball into the penalty area, took a nudge, went down on the 6-yard line. Nothing given this time by Jared Gill at Stuart Downing.
I think Carl Walker just does enough, gets his body across him and just nudges him. I don't think it's a penalty.
Here they come again with Harvey Barnes. Edison has to make the block at his near post this time. Newcastle on top when it comes to possession and chances created. They've still got it on the edge of the area here as City get back in their numbers. You can hear what it's done to the atmosphere at St James's Park, but it's still 1-1. Newcastle with the ball down their right this time, Mark, with Gordon.
In as much as they ever do, Stuart, a City rocking?
A little bit. Since the goal, obviously the atmosphere has gone up tempo, but I just think they're not rocking. They're under a little bit of pressure. They're defending, quite well. It's a bit like the first half. Newcastle started very well. They just let them come on to them a little bit, and then they start to find their rhythm. So I think that they'll be fine. A couple of passes together, and they just need to settle the crowd again.
Do you know what we've seen one? Sorry, we're seeing a different replay now of a very amusing tussle between Grealish and Tonali, which has got one of them booked. I'm not sure which one, but one of them, Tonali maybe, is the one that's got booked out of that. We saw one replay of the Kyle Walker challenge on Joel Linton. Myself and Mark looked at each other. Your look suggested that might have been more of one than the other one.
100%. That is more of a penalty than the one that got given for me. 100%. I've got to be honest, I don't think either are penalties, but I think that one was certainly more. There was more in that than the other one.
James?
Yeah, that's not a penalty for me. I think the issue you have is when the referee makes a decision on field, because the Kyle Walker one, for me it's just good defending. It's not a penalty.